Ashley Brooke starts him off again. So he gets a second go being shown to everyone on the big screen here at Cheltenham. He's been a great servant to his connections down the years. It'll just be nice to see him run some sort of a race today. Number 2 is Big Zeb, potentially quite a big player.
Yeah, he's been second favourite for a long time. Hold up horse, you can see that he's a bit on his toes, but doing settling a bit. Irish Raider, they're having a great week. Would have probably have beaten Masoni last time out. Prior to that, won a Grade 1 race in Ireland. He's a very good chaser.
He was getting a little warm in the paddock. There's Briarius, who looks relaxed. He's had a perfect preparation according to connections. He was a non-staying fourth in the King George.
He looks terrific. You can see they're big, strong horse. 6th in Brave Ink as champion hurdles, so goes on the course. Didn't get the trip, as you say, when 4th to Cato Star in the King George.
Mahogany Blaze, a regular in these races, but not good enough.
151 race. He's over £30 behind the favourite. He's a pretty safe conveyance. He'll run with some sort of race, but he's not this class.
Rebecca Curtis has turned this horse out beautifully, Maradima. Looks a picture of health, but not good enough.
The price said front runner, pole jumper, outclassed.
A word about number 6, Steve.
Who is that? Oh, yes. Yeah, I mean, a class above these at his best. Hopefully, he can justify his exalted rating and put up another masterclass.
Looks as good as ever. Masterminded. There's New Mill, a past winner of the race.
Took it in 2006, the year that Ashley Brooke fell, I think it was. If it wasn't, anyway. 2006. Age is definitely catching up. His form this year has been pretty modest.
Petit Robin is the mount of Barry Geraghty. Twice on the score sheet yesterday. This horse is progressive.
Many people's idea of the main danger. Run behind Mastermind last time out, will be better going left-handed.
I think this is a ridiculous each-way shot. Santa's son, a horse who won the Castleford in a very fast time for conditions at Weatherby.
Yeah, they're pretty much 152 after that impressive win. A talented and improving horse, but needs to improve more.
Young jockey Paul Townend on Scots Irish, a horse who's a regular in the big races in Ireland, but that form is below what's required. And, well, Twist Magic, which Twist Magic will turn up?
The enigmatic Twist Magic. You know, looks to have all before him when, as a novice. On the odd occasion, he's looked a good horse since. He's Grade 1 winner since, but he's also capable of throwing in some bad ones.
Oh, and here's the other story of the race. Well, Chief.
Yeah, first run for nearly 700 days. It will be a truly magnificent training performance to have this horse back to his best. It'll be great for him to run a good race because, you know, lest we forget, he was a very, very high-class chaser.
And perhaps as we look at him go down to post, we haven't really given his story the credibility and the standing it's deserved today, as we see Twist Magic now doing what's becoming familiar and rather not looking too enthusiastic heading down. But back to Well Chief, Steve, and 177 handicap winner here in his youth.
He won the Victor Chandler, one of the best handicap performances of the last 15-20 years. Was unlucky enough to be born at the same time as Azertiop and Moscow Flyer, two of the really top 2-mile chasers. So he's unfortunate there. He's never won the absolute big one, and when he had his chance, he fell early, didn't he?
Twist Magic is looking none too enthusiastic. That is a negative sign. He did this before Kempton as well, though not to such an exaggerated effect. Looks as though Sam Thomas has got him going now. Let's see where he and all the others figure in the market behind the great Masterminded with Angus.
Yeah, he's okay now. Sam Thomas has got his irons back. Well, it's 4-11 Masterminded. And on the exchanges, they go 17.5 to 1, bar 1. 12 to 1, Big Zeb. Petit Robin, 12s. 12s, Well Chief. Briaris, 16s. Twist Magic, well, there has been a little bit of support. But he's, 16s on course. 37s on the exchanges. Santa Sun, 40s. It's 40 to 1 about Scots Irish. Mahogany Blaze, 50s. 66 to 1, Ashley Brooke. Veradima, 100 to 1. And New Mill is the same. It's a little opposition whatsoever to Masterminded.
Question for you, Nick. Who's the last Cheltenham favourite to get beat at 2 to 5 or shorter?
Desert Orchid was never that short, was he?
The Laird in the late 60s.
The Laird.
I think it was Andy Turnell. Bob Turnell, I think. And it was a Jim Joel, certainly. I might be wrong about the trainer. I think it was Bob Turnell. And it was in 1968 or 69.
And how many horses have started at those sort of cramped odds since?
That's surprised. Well, clearly, I don't know. But that surprised me, given how the competitive nature. But anyway, that's a fact.
Stuart's with us, been in the paddock. Any extra observations?
The two that really caught the eye for me were Masterminded. I was impressed with how he handled the preliminaries and going down to see him in the pre-parade ring. He's so relaxed about it. And it was, I mean, make no mistake, it was heaving down there. You know, the steppings were full, and even around the perimeter, and so many cameras. I mean, we had shots of him being saddled. There were Channel 4 cameras down there, a couple of other cameras as well. Barely turned a hair. Briarius was the other one who I thought looked really well going around the parade ring. It's going to be a huge step up for him, but purely on looks, you know, he stood out today.
Runners just having a look at the practice fence there. I mean, I think we're fairly sure in our own minds how the early part of the race might play, barring accidents, with the traditional trailblazers in attendance, Ashley Brook and New Mill and so forth. How long those sort of horses can last nowadays, I don't know. Remember, Welchie fell at the second here when he made his first comeback 2 years ago.
When a hot favourite, I think Maradina will be up there as well. Again, they should go a good pace, and Masterminded, a bit like the other one we talked earlier, can be ridden any way.
There's just a little rumble from the crowd as they sense they might just be on the verge of witnessing a great masterclass from Masterminded for the second consecutive year. The bristle of excitement, 5-2 on the favourite, and 12's bar it might be, but it doesn't dampen the enthusiasm for this. It's the Queen Mother 2009 with Mike Catamol.
Well, they're being called out. Maradima is very keen to get on with it, though, and is going to come through and break the tape, so they're going to be called back. Nick, it was always never going to happen, that, I'm afraid, and Maradima has taken off with Nick Schofield, so I'll hand the reins back to you as Nick struggles with his own reins here.
And with high-mettled, high-wired chasers, the last thing you want is a full start, and Maradima looks coiled spring-like, and Nick Schofield, a man who's been in good form, has shown good skill to get him anchored after a fashion. And Masterminded was one of those that was toward the fore as well when the tapes went up, or didn't go up but were broken. There is Masterminded, who looks as if he's just tuned himself back onto the right wavelength.
Yeah, Stuart was saying before, he's blessed with a pretty good temperament, isn't he? And in terms of tactics, he's made the running before now. He'd come from behind. He's not fast. He's a pretty straightforward ride, basically.
Maradima being trotted quietly back to the start, and the others just taking a turn, and none of them look too worked up, which is good news. And the starts have just got a little more raggedy as the days progress.
That one, I think, there's to be fair to the start. That one, Maradima clearly was.
They never had a prayer, as Mike said.
They did, absolutely. That was quite clearly. You had to stop it.
So, if you weren't feeling nervy enough, that'll have just got you a little more edge of seat. 11-4 on now, Masterminded. Some are willing to play, even at cramped odds. 12 Big Zeb, 12 Petit Robin. Mahogany Blaze has come for some support. Santa's Son's come for a bit of support. Well done if you back Twist Magic, but you won't have enjoyed seeing what you saw on the way down to post. Hope he doesn't replicate that lack of enthusiasm through the race. I think we might be ready for take two with Santa's Son lining up prominently, along with Petit Robin. Maradima again. Here's Mike.
And again, it's an action replay of the other start, because he's gone through the tape. Has he let them go? No, he hasn't. Another false start, I'm afraid. Nick, I'm afraid that was a complete replica, but it's come out even worse this time, because the other horses were getting up ahead of steam behind this Maradima, and they're going to have to just review this starting procedure, I'm afraid. But it's going to be take three at least. Back to you, Nick.
And now Maradima's properly set himself against Nick Schofield, and he's bolted. So I would fancy that Maradima won't be given to many more chances unless Nick Schofield can get him back to the start in double quick time. He's going double quickly, but he's got him underneath him amazingly. Again, he's doing well, this young rider. I feel for him, because this horse has got himself properly worked up, and the starter had no option really but to call him back. I don't think even an outsider can be allowed 7 or 8 lengths.
No, you can't do that. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad thing for the race if he didn't run, to be honest with you, because he actually has set a few off there. That was different than the first start. A few of them ran into the fence, and it was, they took the jockeys a little bit of energy to pull them up. He's certainly buzzing up the one or two of the others, which isn't a good thing for the race. I don't know what the jockey can do, I really don't, but if he's going to be walking going into it, he's going to be 5 lengths clear. He's either stopped or running, this horse.
And it's not difficult to envisage a situation whereby if something untoward happens during the race. There's a little bit of a rumbling about the antics at the start, horses getting lit up, perhaps charging at the first fence.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, no guarantee it won't happen again as well. The mood he's in, he just looks like that's what he's going to do. So I don't know, maybe he can line him up 10 yards behind everything else. I have no idea, but it's certainly unsatisfactory.
It's 100 to 1 from 150 to 1. Maradima. I'm not sure he's going to last a mile and a half on this behaviour.
No, he's got, I mean, no little chance beforehand, and what little chance he had has completely evaporated. But I say he's actually in danger of mucking up the race the way he's behaving.
Masterminded still looks calm and assured, hasn't turned a hair, the favourite. Few of them getting quite warm, Santa's Son being one of them.
Yeah, Santa's Son. Well, he was a little bit warm beforehand, but he's got worse. As I say, you know, what's going to happen here? I mean, is the side just going to let them go if he does it again?
Maradima needs to get back with them, and then we might be ready. I'm going to join Mike.
Nick, thanks for that. Yeah, let's just hope they can lead him in here properly. They're off and running for the Seasons Holidays Queen Mother Champion Chase. Maradima didn't get the fly he was hoping for, but they're quickly onto the first of 12 fences jumped at speed here. Breyer is touched down with a narrow advantage. Santa's Son and Maradima has taken off and now takes over going towards the second, as he threatened to do so after 2 false starts. He hit that hard too, did Maradima. Mastermind at this stage is settling in 5th place, or 5th or 6th place. Ashley Brooke on the outside, just in front of him. Twist Magic, stablemate, just tucked in behind Masterminded. So Maradima leads by 2 or 3 lengths from Briarius, with a gap of 2 or 3 back to Ashley Brooke, Santa's Son, Petit Robin, and then Masterminded, Twist Magic. Scott's Irish on the outside is settled well. Well Chief is anchored at the back of the field too. On the inside of the course, Big Zeb is put to sleep there too. At the back of the pack then, as they go towards the next fence where Maradima hit that hard again, is the former champion Newmill, together with Mahogany Blaze on the inside of the course. But it's Maradima who goes off at a rate of knots up the hill, leads by 4 lengths into Briarius, racing in clear 2nd place, and there's clear water back to Santa's Son 5 lengths away back in 3rd place, with on the inside Petit Robin. Mastermind on the outside then, with Ashley Brooke tracking him in 6th place. Twist Magic is next, Big Zeb on the inside. Well Chief tracking Ashley Brooke, who just gets a reminder there as Scott's Irish goes past him on the inside. Mahogany Blaze on the rail saves ground, and at the back of the field still is the former champion Newmill. Heading down the side of the course then, going towards fence number 5 there. Maradima settling better. Oh, Petit Robin hit that very hard there, and a mistake too by Mahogany Blaze. Petit Robin had taken the wind out of his sails there as he hit that fence. They're going down towards the water jump, which is number 6. Maradima by 5. Briaris in 2nd place. Jumping up into 3rd place on the inside, Petit Robin still there with Santa's Son. Twist Magic is just tracking Mastermind on the outside. Mastermind into a good rhythm then as they go to the first open ditch of the race. The champion only about 4 or 5 lengths behind these leaders. As they took that, Well Chief is tracking Masterminded on the far side. Twist Magic's lost a couple of places. Scott's Irish goes alongside him, together with Newmill, as they take that next fence on the far side. Last of all now is Ashley Brooke. Maradima, the rank outsider, then leads the field as they head across the top of the hill towards the big open ditch, which is fence at number 9. Briaris racing in 2nd. On the outside, Masterminded now looming up large, and he's going to get in a big leap here by the looks of things. Masterminded, he does so, almost takes him to the front there, and we lost Big Zeb at the ditch at the top of the hill. So Breyer is the leader, but Masterminded cruising in his slipstream on the outside. Petit Robin is 3rd. Well Chief cruises up now and goes into 4th place. Behind these then comes Newmill, and then comes Scott's Irish as the runners head on down the hill. They've got a real gallop here in the Seasons Holidays Queen Mother Champion Chase, and Masterminded alongside Briaris with Petit Robin, and Well Chief on the outside now goes into 4th place. Newmill and Scott's Irish 5 and 6. Twist Magic not figuring at this stage as they come down to the 3rd last. Petit Robin just in front of Masterminded. Between them is Briaris under pressure. These 2 have kicked clear now of Well Chief as they come down now to the 2nd last. It's Masterminded who takes over the running now from Petit Robin. Here's the 2nd last. Masterminded, Petit Robin going with him. Mistake by Briaris back in 3rd place. Now Ruby shakes the reins on the chap, Masterminded. He's picking up then, but he hasn't shaken off Petit Robin yet. But now he engages overdrive on the turn, and it's Masterminded who begins to surge clear up the hill. One more fence to go here. Pretty Robin is second. Briaris and Well Chief in third and fourth. The final fence coming up now for Masterminded. Up and over in great style. He's 4 or 5 clear of Paulo Briaris in fourth when held. Well Chief goes into second place, but it's all about Masterminded, who surges clear up the hill here, and he'll defend his crown in great style. Masterminded, the champ, comes home to win by 5 or 6 lengths. Masterminded, a hat-trick for Ruby Walsh. In second, Well Chief. Third is Pretty Robin. Fourth home then was New Mill, revitalised New Mill, who kicked clear of Scots Irish in fifth.
Masterminded had everything to lose, but he's regained his crown in the Seasons Holidays Queen Mother Champion Chase at the odds of 11-4 on. In doing so, he has given Ruby Walsh his 4th winner of the meeting, his hat-trick today in consecutive races. His jumping was assured. Perhaps he didn't brush aside inferiors as readily as we would have liked. Perhaps he didn't stretch majestically up the run-in in the same style as last year. But what's important is that he has won, and he has won decisively. Well Chief, what a comeback from him. What a tenacious little horse. What joy he's given us. So good to see him back. Petit Robin has run to his best, and Briaris had run well until, sadly, coming to grief, we lost Big Zeb down the far side. But Masterminded was a class apart, and that was enough.
He was a class apart. In some ways, given everything we know about him in his racing, you'd have to say it was less. It was emphatic without being spectacular. He got the job done. Basically, he largely jumped very well. There was a moment on the home turn where he had to be shaken up to go past Petit Robin, and he's done it well without being one of his top performances. I think Petit Robin made one serious blunder himself and ran a cracker. Well Chief is in some ways the story of the race. He was keen early on, but he performed with tremendous grace. A very good training performance to bring this horse back, good enough to run second in a Grade 1. I want to mention Briaris. I did think he was overdone. I think it was too aggressive a ride, really. The Maradino went off ludicrously in front, and in the end, Briaris has run an excellent race and did not deserve to fall at the last. He had, he was given a very aggressive ride.
Petit Robin thumped a couple down the back and did well to finish as close as he did in the end, but Masterminded just cruised into contention down the back.
Look, Masterminded travelled really well. You thought 3 out, when you see that picture when they run down to 3 out, he's going to go and storm clear. Now, it's credit to the second and third that he didn't. But somehow it was workmanlike is not enough. It was emphatic, as I say, without being spectacular.
And already VC Bet goes 7-4 on for next year's race. Appalling fall from Big Zeb. We hope he's okay. His jumping frailty's letting him down once again. The stragglers are well beaten off. Mahogany Blaze and Maradima and Twist Magic never wanted to know. New Mill's run okay, Scots Irish has run okay, but now the race hots up.
Yeah, a bit more than that New Mill, to be fair, given he's 11 now. He's run on nicely to be not beaten that far for the place horses. So, I will give him credit. He's run well. Yeah, Twist Magic was a thoroughly lacklustre race. Actually looked like he doesn't like it anymore. That's a fall of Briaris, which was a shame. He probably would have been full. That New Mill running on the outside now. Pretty good effort, I think, for an 11-year-old. And then you see the winner there. He put 5 cents in between him. He's won really well. This wouldn't justify his mark of 183. Let's be honest. 150 on horse in third. He's run some way below his best, but in a sense, it was his to lose today, and he didn't do that.
And Ruby Walsh rides yet another winner. Robert Thornton, happily the rider of Big Zeb, is up and okay, has walked away from that horrible fall. Paddy Power also goes 7-4 on, Masterminded to make it 3 next year and emulate Badsworth Boy. His trainer Paul Nicholls is off the mark for the week in good style. He's with Stuart.
Yeah, Paul Nicholls is with me. Paul, congratulations. It must be a relief in some ways, mustn't it?
Of course it is. Get the first winner on board, but you concentrate on the big races, and ran very well yesterday, and with Celestial Halo, and this horse has won today, and you get a winner on the board. It's a relief, and Ruby's flying at the moment as well, so you just hope it keeps going the right way.
It's the way that he travels to the race that is so impressive. It seems as though Ruby can put him anywhere that he wants to.
You can, and just one thing about him, he's this year he's not such a tank as he was. He got a little bit lazy and just keeps a little bit to himself.
Yeah.
And hence you can just have him right to do whatever you think, really.
Yeah, and Ruby just shook the reins at him, turning in, and that was it. Well, Chief's run a mighty race.
I mean, all credit to Dave. What a fantastic effort to get him here and run so well. He was a very, very good horse, and that Golden Era of those good horses, and and he's run a blinder. They'll be well pleased.
Yeah. Must give you a huge amount of pleasure though inside, mustn't it, this success?
That is, he's done phenomenally well, since we had him, and he's not the most straightforward to train. He might look it, but he's not. And to get him right on the day, he's a very, very good horse.
Fantastic achievement. Well done, Paul.
Paul Nicholls, happy, relieved. He knows that in Masterminded he has a horse of the highest calibre, and he'll be back again next year, God willing. Interesting to hear Paul's thoughts about maybe as time goes on he's just going to keep a little bit more for himself. He's not going to exert himself with the same exuberance that he did 12 months ago. But let's make no mistake, the victory was decisive. People came here to see a champion, and they've seen one.
He put daylight between himself and the rivals. He's a top horse, but you don't put up stellar performances every time you run. He still won, he still jumped impeccably, and he did it very, very well.
Well, Chief has just had a terrific reception from the crowd, and quite rightly too. They know when a horse has given his all in defeat. A time 4 seconds slower than last year.
Yeah, 3:59.92 I think they said, so not an enormous amount quicker than the Arkle yesterday.
But the crowd rise to Masterminded, and Ruby Walsh gives the thumbs up. It's mission accomplished for a very special horse. If not quite a once in a generation, not far from it.
Top horse. You don't get many horses racing in the 180s. As I say, he hasn't had to run that today, but he's put up some spectacular performance in the past. Today it was a bit more, let's say, getting the job done performance. But he did it for people to come to see, and if he hasn't quite lived up to his star billing, he certainly hasn't let people down.
That's 4, and we're not even halfway for Walsh.
No, and he's got some very strong rides to come. It's, it could be a stellar year for him, and more winners for sure.
Let's get those important starting prices for the 2009 Season Holidays Queen Mother Champion Chase.
Well, a truly magnificent performance from Masterminded. He did what he had to do, and he's put them away comfortably. The 4-11 favourite from Well Chief. What a training performance David Pipe's done with this horse to get him into second place in this race on his comeback. 12-1. And Petit Robin, 12-1 back in third. All 12 ran.
Don't get in a twist. Place your bets with Blue Square now. £25 free bet for all new customers. Sign up today.
Right. Huntingdon's 3:35 is a handicap hurdle. 2 miles, 5.5 furlongs. 17 runners, 10 hurdles. And number 18, Take Time, is out. Head to Kerry, 7-2 from 9-2. Interesting support for this horse. There's money for Festive Chimes as well, who'll go on the ground, like the ground Andrew Thornton rides. Portside is 6s from 10s. 13-2, Castlemaine Village. Gonna Do It is 8-1 from 12s. 14s, Native Bob. Ramvaswani, 14s. 18s, Latalanta. Anthony's Road is 18s. 20s, Cannon Cop. Romney Mar.